What is up, guys? Ross Thomas here for the Brotographer, and I have not really seen you in a while. If you haven't noticed, we've started uploading a bunch of YouTube podcasts, if you will, and we've started a podcast here on this channel called The Shooters Club. Now, if you haven't seen those episodes, please make sure to tune into those. They're available everywhere where you get your audio podcasts. So those are going to be Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere like that, Google Podcasts, everywhere essentially where you get your podcasts. But we've also been releasing a video form of that audio podcast here in the channel. Now, we won't be releasing every single audio podcast in video form, but I think we are 5 for 6. We just shot episode 6 of the podcast, and if you haven't checked that out, make sure and go check out those episodes. But that is not why we're here today. As you can see, I've got these pretty sweet RGB lights behind me, and I wanted to talk about those with you today. I've done a couple things with DigitalFoto, they're a company out of China, before, and as you know, I only like to review products that I'm genuinely going to use or I'm interested in. Now, so many of you are YouTubers just like me. I kind of call myself a YouTuber, but we like to make YouTube videos, and color is so nice to be able to spice up the background. This is my basement. It's a pretty boring space, but you can do some really cool things with color. And so that's why I want to talk about the DigitalFoto YY150 light. This light is really awesome. So RGB lights have become all the craze lately. It seems like not too long ago that RGB was a crazy expensive proposition. Right off the bat, this very powerful, very portable, USB-C chargeable, ton of modable light comes in at only about $125. Really nice, solid construction. And the cool thing about this light is it's just so easy to use and so portable. So before I show you what the light can do, let's just run through some of the specs here. So this is a bicolor and an RGB light. So what this light can do is go from 2500 Kelvin all the way to 8500 Kelvin. So it's a really huge range, and a lot of way more expensive lights actually don't have that range, some of them that I've used before. You can go in 1% increments from 1 obviously all the way to 100, and 0 to 360 full color, full saturation in a huge color range. So it supports, just like many of these RGB lights do, is it supports 9 modes like lightning and cop car and things like that. And I'm really never going to use it for those purposes. But for those of you that are shooting short films and you need to have like a TV scene or something like that, it could be a really interesting option for you. Really small, really portable. It charges via USB-C, and I recently got the MacBook Pro 16-inch, the brand new one for 2019, and I'm kind of being forced to go all USB-C, but it's nice to see this. This is USB-C as well, and not that USB-C, not that USB micro port that so many of the old electronics, especially the Chinese brands, had. So another really big thing that DigitalFoto has, and I didn't even know this actually, is that they have a 36-month warranty. That's on a $125 product. They have a 3-year warranty. And I think that's really interesting and really worth noting, is that this company seems like they are going to be standing by their products. They've come out with a lot of products. You guys saw that I had that Thanos Vest, but they've already upgraded that Thanos Vest into a Pro version. And so it seems like they're really set on releasing high quality products at a good price point. And so I think they're a company that is worth looking at, because I think they're going to be up and coming in the photography and video market for years to come. But anyways, that 3-year warranty is absolutely fantastic. So let's switch over to that top-down view, and I want to show you what this light can do. All right, so as you can see, this light is not actually too big, but I'm really surprised with the construction of this light. It feels like a full metal design, one piece of metal from the back all the way wrapping around the sides, all the way to the front where this plastic begins, all the way back around again. It has a 1/4 20 thread on the bottom, on the side. It also has a cold shoe mount right here on the side as well. And I'll show you why that's really interesting in just a minute. Another thing that I think is really cool is that this light actually has the RGB numbers, if you will. I don't know what they're called, but they have the RGB numbers and how they correspond to the color gamut. On this side right here, you have your USB-C charging port. You have what is your mode, your set, you have a plus and a minus dial. So how you turn on this bad boy is you hold down the mode or power button, and as you can see, it is not in RGB mode right now, but how we do that is we hit this little power button again, which also is our mode button, and there you go, we're in RGB mode. Now this is the hue, saturation, and illumination mode, and in this mode you can just kind of scroll through all the different hues, if you will, of the color gamut. If you hit the mode button again, you can manually dial in the RGB, which I don't tend to ever use. We have all of our different scenes right here, starting on lighting, and we are back to regular CCT. So let's go back to the hue, saturation, and illumination mode, and if we hit set, we can change between hue, saturation, and illumination. I'm at like 79% right now, so I will turn this a little bit down. But I always like to keep saturation up at 100%. I don't know about you, but if you go over to the hue, in increments of 1, we can change our color temperature. So we're going to change into that purple, into that blue, into those greens, yellows, and back to those reds, and into those purples again. Now I haven't taken this light to its full range yet in terms of using it until it dies, but it does have a 3300 milliamp battery, which seems pretty big. And I think it's gonna last you a really long time. I've used it for a couple hours at a time, and I typically only go down like 1 or maybe 2 bars. Now you might be asking yourself, what comes with this light and how can I use it? It just doesn't come like this. In that $125, you're gonna get a cold shoe mount, a little swivel head right here, which is really cool and reminds me of a small rig part. And then you have an L bracket, which also has a cold shoe mount, and I'll show you how that's going to be used. And then you have your USB-C. So on my A7R III here, I know that some of you are vloggers, and this is how you would use it if you needed a little bit of kick of light. So if I turn it on right here, it's barely on, but you can see that if you're doing any vlogging at night, if you're doing like adventure stuff and you want to film yourself, having that little extra kick of light is going to allow you to shoot in darker times where the sun has gone down possibly, or if you're exploring somewhere, if you're a YouTuber like that. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, how are you going to get good audio? It's taking up the hot shoe mount. Well, they actually thought about that. Remember that little side cold shoe mount that I told you about? Well, if you slide out the little cover, you can actually put your microphone off to the side. It can point at your talent or yourself right there. So DigitalFoto seems like they've done a really good job of checking off all those boxes and thinking about things that might come up in the future. You know, they market this to go on top of a camera. They've thought about the audio that's going to be blocked, and so they made a solution for that. So big ups to DigitalFoto for actually thinking through their product before they made it. So now I'd like to show you kind of how I use these in my studio in various configurations. All right, so if you watch the Shooters Club, you definitely recognize this little scene right here. I've got a couple lights over here, 2 of them that are set at 100%, and they are set to red. And I like to go red in one side of the room and blue in the other side of the room. So I've got a tube light over here that's behind the computer, but I don't actually get any spill onto these walls. And so what I did is, I've got my overhead light here. What I did is I actually put 2 of the DigitalFoto lights on top of this light to throw color onto the wall. And that's what I'm really talking about with these lights, is they are meant to be accent lights. So I used the included accessories that DigitalFoto included, and I threw them on these little mini tripods. They're super light. They can handle being on top of here, and that's how I lit this situation. So my lighting setups typically aren't too crazy, and I've gotten in trouble in the past of trying to get too crazy with my video lights. So for the podcast, I have one overhead light, the RGBs kicking this way that are blue, the opposing reds of the YY150s all the way on the other side of the room. And so David has red on one side and I have blue on the other, and I think that's a really good fit. If you're doing something like you're wearing a red shirt, you've got the blue light behind you, I also think that it's good. Contrasting colors make light much more interesting, and a little light like the DigitalFoto YY150 is gonna allow you to do that. You could pick up several of these. Put a $500 budget into these little lights. Spend $500 on a really nice big light, spend $500 on these little accent lights, and you can do a lot. You can use them as hair lights, you could use them as lights in the background like I'm doing here, because they have the ability to be regular warm or cool light, and then also to have that RGB color. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't see any real cons of these lights. The batteries are rechargeable, they seemingly last forever. They're really powerful, full RGB, really controllable, and you can use them in just a variety of situations. I see no reason why you probably shouldn't have 1, 2, or even 3 of these in your bags. Even if you're a photographer, having that really cool neon look to your images could be something that you'd want to do with a light like this, and they're definitely powerful enough to do that. Anyways, if you have any questions at all, please make sure to leave a comment down in the description. Again, links to the product will be down there as well. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I am almost to 10,000 subscribers, and I'm really looking forward to getting there. Again, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up if you like, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.